There are three things we don't do so that the love remains alive in our marriage. And these are not the big things, these are the micro behaviors. So, this video is going to be in two parts. In this part, I'm going to talk about the three things you shouldn't do. And then in the next video, I'm going to talk about the three things that we do that really keeps love alive in our marriage. Continue to watch this video. Hi, Valerian Sequeira here. I teach relationship to bring back love into the marriage, to keep love alive, keep the love stories alive. So, what are the three things we don't do in our marriage? And in fact, when we don't do it, it really keeps love alive. We try to do it, try not to do it most of the time, and sometimes we are all humans, we fall prey to it. So, what are those three things? The first thing is, if you are my student, you would have heard me talking about this hundreds of times. That is criticize and defend. So when does the criticism starts? Let's say Pallavi gets, I do something that hurts Pallavi, and the next response that comes is criticism. Now, if she is going to criticize me, obviously I'm going to defend, and we are going to have a huge fight. Will that bring us closer? Of course not, because you know what happens when we criticize and defend. What happens when we have a fight? Nobody wins. Nobody wins. Now, instead of this, what do we do? What we do, instead of criticizing whenever we are hurt, we just let the person know. What's the difference? What's the difference between criticizing and letting the person know? In criticism, we make the other person feel that the other person is wrong or bad or a horrible human being. How do we do that? That is through our words and our tone, and of course, the body language. But in letting the person know, we are just informing the person this is what happened. You might inform the person saying that, inform your spouse saying that when there was water, whenever you leave water on the ground after you come out of the bathroom, uh, it irritates me. In that particular conversation, in that sentence, my partner has not told me that I'm bad, wrong, or horrible human being. The person has just informed me what happened and told me how it makes that person feel. Now, when that happens, the other partner, let's say Pallavi says that, what do I do? I can defend myself for why I'm doing that, or I can say sorry. The biggest question people have is, why should I say sorry when I'm not wrong? The reason why I say sorry is not because I'm wrong. It's because whatever I did hurt Pallavi. And this becomes a culture. If I start saying sorry for anything that makes Pallavi feel hurt, Pallavi starts doing the same. You can try it out in your relationship, but do it for a consistent period of time. There are some magic that men in our community are seeing because of these tiny changes in their relationship. The second thing that we do or don't do is talk negative about each other. When you are sitting with your spouse, sorry, when you are sitting with someone and you're talking about your spouse, what are you saying to that person? Are you saying something positive about your spouse, or are you saying something negative about your spouse? This is extremely important because every spouse that talks negative about their partner never has a great marriage. You might wonder why, but that's the rule. That's the law of nature. Because when you're talking negative, what you're bringing out is kind of hatred towards your partner. And hatred cannot bring love. It is only love that brings love. So when we talk about each other, we make sure that we talk about the positive things about the other person. Does it mean that we are perfect? That means I have all the positive qualities and no negative qualities? No. Does it mean that Pallavi has all the positive qualities and no negative qualities? Of course not. But the point is, try to focus on what's beautiful about the other person, what's loving about the other person, what's caring about the other person. And when I focus on these tiny things, what I focus on expands. So that's the second thing. And the third thing that we avoid doing is making the other person understand a point of view. Have you ever tried this? You feel strongly about something. Let's say you feel strongly about buying a refrigerator or buying a vehicle, and you try to make your spouse understand that you need the vehicle. Then guess what happens? When you try to convince your spouse is less convinced. He feels a sense of resistance. So, one of the things, thanks to relationship science, we have learned is not convince the other person. Instead of convincing, share with the other person, this is what I'm thinking of. And the other person says, maybe not right now. Maybe let's talk about it, maybe later. And you just leave it at that. And then what happens is, most of the times, many a times, that is something that we need for the family. Then it comes back. It comes back, the other person turns around, and we have a connection. But for this to happen, connection, and eventually we decide to go about it. Now, who decides what is right for the family? We decide as a team. The universe decides. The insights that we get decide, not individually. Many times I think that this is good for this, for us, but maybe not. So at those moments when my spouse says, let's not go about it, we just take a step back and wait for the right time. And the right time comes. Right time comes. And for these things to happen, you got to be in mature love. What do I mean by being in mature love? Marriage is made of three stages. The first stage is romance, the second stage is power struggle, and the third stage is mature love. If you're in power struggle, the first thing to do is you got to stop these behaviors. And the next thing you got to do is the behaviors that I'm going to talk about in the next video, you got to follow them. So, right now, what I want you to do is this: out of these three behaviors that I spoke about, that is criticism and defensiveness, talking negative about your partner and making the other understand, what's the one behavior you think you should stop? What's the one behavior? Write it in the comment section, and I would like to read it and respond to it. The second thing that I want you to do is, if there is somebody in your life who you know is going through a very difficult phase in their marriage, and you think that this particular video will really help that person, then please go ahead and share this video. And thirdly, if you are somebody who has not attended my masterclass, there is a 90-minute masterclass I do called Three Secrets to Creating an Amazing Marriage or Bringing Back Love. If you have not attended this masterclass, then go to Coach Val, that is COACHVAL, coachval.co, and sign up for this masterclass. I would love to see you live at this masterclass. So that's all for this video, and just go ahead, watch the next video. Just as soon as this video ends, in the end section you'll find one more video. Choose the one that really appeals to you, watch that and learn from it. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until we connect again, as always, keep your love story alive. Bye bye.